response body validation. It tallies with what you have on your API documentation, and also um, yeah. So we explain more further on that, and then we talked about test results too. So there are actually basically two outputs, and result expecting while testing API. Number one, we check for the success message in case of pass or fail, and we also check the appropriate error message in case of failure. Um, I made example of that. For example, you perform the login request and you're supposed to say welcome, and on while testing you saw goodbye, while testing. So whatever requests you are executing while testing API should be what is given on the API documentation. It has to be the same format. It has to be, like the prototype of what you have on the API documentation. So we did a rough sketch yesterday on how to create our first request using Postman, and we did a Facebook example yesterday, which we will continue today. So today, we'll be looking at API Web Services Basics. So the API Web Services Basics are how to create our first API using a dummy pre-existing API documentation, which will be practicalizing today. And two, we will also learn how to create post request, get request, patch request, and delete request. Then we will also look at how to create our own API testing. That is how to create our REST API on our own. Will teach us how to create a server for REST API. So right now, I want to believe we are all familiar with Postman, and we can at least create requests on our own, and we have basic knowledge of how to create requests, to create API requests, and we have knowledge of what URL is. So if I may ask, what are the combination of your URL while testing API? Anybody want to answer that question?
To verify the response.
Okay, let me ask the guys online first. So guys online, can you tell me the combination of your URL while testing API?
The base URL and the endpoint.
Okay, thank you. Who is that? You didn't tell us your name.
Tony is probably, sorry.
Thank you, Tony. All right. So I think we should dive in now. So we'll be doing this simultaneously. I want you all to follow me on how we proceed on this journey. So I dropped this link on the chat channel yesterday. Go to this, please click on this link and open it on your browser. So I want to teach us how to create API collection. So this request.in is pre-existing API server service that we'll be using for example As you can see, it has dummy API, which we'll be using to explore our test. So if you execute, if you click on the link, it should take you to this page as seen on the screen. And as seen on the screen, let me drop the link again. So I've just dropped the link on the chat channel, guys. So as seen on the screen, you can see different type of API method. We have the get request, which is listed at list users. We have the another get request, which is single user, and we have post request, which is create. We have a put request, which is update. We have a patch request, which is update too as well, and we have the delete request. So we will pick each endpoint, and we will perform a test on it. And as you can see here, which is the request here, this is the endpoint for this request, and as seen up here, this is the base URL, and as seen here, this is the response code. So once you execute this API request, you should have a response of 200, and your response body should look exactly like this. So that is for the get request, which is list user. So if I click on this get request, which is single user, as seen on the screen, the endpoint, which is API/user/2, and the response code, which is 200, and the response body. And if I click on post request, so as seen on the screen, this is a post request, the base URL, which is this, and the endpoint, which is this, and the response code, as said in the last class, while using a pre-existing API documentation I have. Whenever you are performing a post request, most especially when you are creating data, you will always get a response code, which is 201. So 201 means created successfully, and 200 means um 200 means what? Hmm? 201 is create successfully, and 200 is what? Successfully. Yeah, thank you. And as seen down here, this is the body. And whenever you are performing a post, you are executing a post API request, there is always body, being attached to your API call, and this is what the response body should look like, as seen on the screen. Morpheus was created and given a job role as a leader, and an ID is being created. So this is an existing API. I will teach us how to create our own API. So majorly the developers write API, but nothing do you as a tester to create API. So then if I click on this put API request, as seen on the screen, you can see the endpoint and the URL. So as seen on the screen, you can see there's a change in the job description. So the initial created job role was leader and named Morpheus. And because I want to update the job role, as seen when this was executed, it has the job description change as Zion resident, and which is you can see on the screen here, updated with updated so time and dates, and the job description being updated as the name still remain Morpheus. So if I click on patch request, you can see Lion residents still same data, but still updated. So patch Patch and put request are almost executing the same function. So you can Google the difference between put and patch and have better understanding. And the delete request, as you can see on the screen, 204 means data not available in the server. So once you perform a delete request, you will always get this response code, which is 204, data not found or data being deleted. So let's launch our Postman and create a request API service. So as launch on my Postman on the screen, I'm going to come to new and create a collection for that project. And remember, I mentioned while creating a collection for projects, you are always to name your collection the project you're working on. So I'll click on new projects, and you can see you can click as seen on the screen. So you have option of what you can create as a new. So you can create a single HTTP request, you can create a WebSocket request, you can create a collection, you can create environment, you can create workspace, and etc. So in the course of the program, I'll also teach us how to create environment for our project and how to automate our API. So I'll click on collection, and name my collection request API test. So as seen on the screen, once you name your collection folder, which is request API collection folder, if you come to the left side of your screen here, you will see your collection folder created on the screen. So as seen here, you can see request API test. So if you click on this drop down arrow, you will see you have no requests, in the collection folder. So right now we need to create a request, to add to our collection folder, which is for request. So what I can just do, I can click on add new request. So once you click on add new request, by default you will see this on the screen, which is get the URL bar, and params, authorization, headers, body, pre-request script, test script, and settings. So I want you guys to, in your quiet time, read about these params in API. I will send the API, I will send the Postman documentation to you, a link, so you read on how API works and create how to create your API request too as well. So we are working on request API test. So for me to create my first API test, I need to go back to request.in. So the first thing I need to do, I have named my collection, I have named my API request. So I need to set my URL, which is the second thing which I need to do. So for you to set your URL, remember your URL comprises of your base URL and the endpoint. So this is my endpoint here as provided here, and this is my base URL as seen up here. So I will copy up this guy and go back to my Postman and paste in here, and come to, okay, let's do list users first, and copy this guy, which is the endpoint, and paste in here. And I mentioned always pay attention while creating your URL. You can say I have double slash here. With this double slash, my request won't execute. As you can see, my request won't execute. So, and because I haven't set an environment for this project, So I will click on this drop down arrow, which on your Postman is meant to be default. It should be no environment, but in the future you can create an environment for your project, which I'm going to teach us how to create an environment for our project. So let's assume I want to execute this request. I will get a error response message. You can see as seen on the screen. So this is an error response message. So it's because I'm entering the wrong URL, for the request. So let's assume I have the right URL, and let's name our API. Let's name the API request. So what's the API request? So the API request is list user. So I will click on this edit button here and type in list user. So list user as seen on the screen. So I can click on save, and now I can hit the send button. So as seen on the screen, I've gotten the list user. So you can see these are the list of the users below here. We have Janet.Weaver. We have the email address, the first name, the last name. We have the avatar, and we have the support. We have the URL link, and we have the text. So this says on to keep request free, contribution server cost appreciated, whatever. So as you can see, we've gotten a response for this endpoint that was being executed. So if you click on get users here, you can see. Okay. Okay, I think I didn't copy the right endpoint. So let me copy endpoint. So, so what happened here is that I have told Postman to just get this single user. So which ID is 2. So I can say, okay, fetch me ID number 3. So it will fetch me the ID for number 3, which created data in the database. So you can see this is a get request. I'm querying the data to get data. So let me add in the get users endpoint. So with this endpoint now, I'm going to get all the list users, for page 2. So I can also get list user for page 1 too as well. So you can see page 1, we have 6 per page, total number of 12. And you can see these are the number of users we have on page 1. And I can decide, okay, let me get users from page 2. So you can see I've gotten users from page 2 as seen on the screen, which is what was expected to be seen here, while executing this request. You can see Michael.Lawson, you can see the avatar, whatever. So as seen on the screen, you can see. So you validate as a tester. These are the things you do. You validate your response body with what you have. And remember, in the last class, I explained how to use our snippet, which is to add tests to add tests to our executed API. Do you remember? No. Okay. God is with us. Can I get amen? So,
Amen.
so you can see. So let's pick another method. So this is a get method. So get method is just you fetching data from the database. You are querying the database to get data. So let's try another request. So let's perform a post request, which is create data. That means you want to sign up or you want to create a user, for this application. So for us to create a post request, so I will come back to my postman and come to my project collection here, which is up here, and click on this button here and add new request. And as said in the last class, you can have more than one folder in a collection. A folder is always created in a collection, and in a folder you can also add requests, to it. So this is what I'm trying to say exactly. Look at this project I have on my screen. This is a okay. Let me use let me find okay, look at this guy. So if you look at this guy, you can see the name of the project. If you click on this project, you can see it has a folder. Inside this folder I have another folder. This is what I used as a sample yesterday. It has another folder. Inside this folder it has another folder, and inside the folder now we have our API request, which is post, and etc. So, and for this kind of project, it doesn't have multiple folders, so it's just a single request, for each collection. So remember, we need to name our API request. So the API request is create user. So I've named the request. Then don't always forget to change the method. So we are using a post method to execute this API request. So the next thing we need to set in our URL. So we go to the project URL and copy the base URL. Come in here and paste the URL and go back and copy the endpoint. So this is the endpoint. Oh, sorry. So copy out the endpoint, excuse me, and paste in here. So, and okay, let me just explain a bit. So sometimes your API documentation comes with params. So params means parameters. So there are some parameters you might need to pass in while testing some API documentation, and sometimes you might need to set authorization. Sometimes when you are performing API testing, and in the last class I used on an existing project, for example. So this project now, if I have to log in on this project, it generates a token for me. So basically, what token servers? So token servers a gateway pass, for you to access an application, as a user. And token generally is it forms as a time window, is a unique access, for you to gain to an application, and token serves as a time window. For example, if you go to Facebook and log in on your Facebook, and sometimes the token can be programmed to last a windows of maybe like 2 minutes or 5 minutes, depending on how many minutes it's been set. So that's as soon as after the minute is being executed, maybe after 10 minutes, and you refresh the application, the web application or the mobile application, it won't let you log in with the yes, because the token is already expired. So it's for security reasons, for application. So That's what token stands for. So, and if by chance you're working on an application, that requires token, you can always come to authorization, click on this guy, and click on bearer token. And sometimes might be bearer token, and sometimes might be API key. Whatever authorization form it is, you just copy the authorization key, click on any of these, and paste in. As seen on the screen, this is an example of a token, a bearer token, as seen on the screen. So token is always generated when you perform a login on an application or when you register on an application. Achiko. So let's continue with the post request we are performing on our API. So always remember to change your method, while setting your API. So this application does not require token. I'm going to clean up this token and click on this drop down arrow and say click on inherit auth from parents. So remember, it's a post request. We need to pass in body. Every post request needs body or parameter or authorization. So this requires me to pass in body. And once I click on the body, I click on raw, and I want my response to come in JSON format. So I will click on this drop down arrow and click on JSON format, and then click on this body here and add my body. So for me to add my body, I will go back to my project, my API documentation. So remember, this URL here, this guy here is serving as API documentation. It's a dummy API documentation provided. So I will teach us how to create our own REST API documentation and how to create server for the API. So we've already named the method, we've named the API request, so we need to pass in the body. So we can just copy out this guy here and go back to our postman and paste in here. And sometimes if by chance you need to type in yourself, all these parameters, all these and it looks scattered here, you can just click on this button here. You can click on this button here to beautify your your body. You can see just beautify it, so it rearrange everything and align your body. So we are creating a user which is Morpheus, and the job description is leader. So let's send this request to see the response body. So as you can see on the screen, so if you check your status, so you can see 200 created, and this request was executed between 500 milliseconds. So 500 milliseconds is 5 seconds, if I'm correct. No, 500 milliseconds. 5,000 milliseconds is 5 seconds. Okay, this was executed in less than 1 second. Yeah. So as you can see, the response body created Morpheus leader, and was given ID of 370. So let me send this request again to see um, the response message. So it created say, yeah, different ID. So this sometimes now I'm referring to SRS documents. Sometimes your SRS document may say, okay, this application, you cannot use the same pre-existing name to create another user. So this application now, as okay, fine, we might get to have the same name, but we have unique ID. So at some application, we say, okay, you can't use the same name that was being existed, in the application, because this kind of application requires a lot of people to to use, and I might get to have again the same name with you. So that is why they have this unique ID, for each user that is being created. So you can also say, okay, let me create a user called Toby, and let me give Toby instructor, and I click send. So you can see it's created Toby instructor and it's giving ID of 60. So imagine I want to fetch this Toby guy. I want to look for Toby and in the app, in the system. So don't forget, whenever you execute whenever you execute request, always click on save. Always save your request whenever it's being executed, so you can still have access to it. You can save the data. So imagine I want to get this user Toby. So I can decide to create another request, or use this okay, let me create another API request and say get user. um, I can say add new request, and say get single How many guys are single here? Hmm? Remind yourself. So get single user. Yeah, I don't trust you. You have like 5 girlfriends. So let's say we want to look for Toby with ID number 60. So we need to, okay, it's a get request. So we need to set our URL. So come to this guy here, the web browser. Okay, let me copy this URL from here. So let me copy this URL and come back here. So I just borrowed that URL for borrowing sake, and I will say users. No, user. Get this user slash 60. Is it user or users? Okay, I think it should be user. Okay, and hit the send button. Sorry, I think it's user. And hit the send button. Ah,
I think it's equals to something. It's equals to something.
okay. Oh, sorry. Equals to, yes. The page. Okay. Get the user from the page. So you can see you are telling API to get user with questioning, okay, this page, which is on the whatever page it is, maybe page 1 or page 2, equals to this ID number, which is 60. So if you hit send, it will fetch you the user with ID, and you happen to be on page 6, on the page. So you can see I've already fetching this ID number, and after this I can hit on save. And by chance, if I have to delete this user, I can come back here and add new request, and name my API request delete user. So remember, change your method to delete, and pass in your URL, and you can say okay, delete user 60, and send the request. So as you can see, it's 204, no content. That means this user is being deleted. Let me click on save. So let me try and check if the user was deleted. So these are the things we do as QA to verify that okay, existing data was deleted from the server. So let's hit send again to see if the guy is still there. Wait, let's go by first. So let's check the endpoint if it's correct. So we need to always think outside the box, to see what all. So let me click on this delete request. So, I seen on the screen. So this is the endpoint for us to delete. So I will just copy this endpoint here, come to my server here, and so I just need to add slash, then the user. Oh, sorry, that is not for delete. So this is for delete. So need to come on this page and tell him Postman to look for this guy and click send delete. So let's see if it's been deleted from the system. Let's send this guy again. Something is wrong. Okay, delete request. Let me.
Two is not there, page two. You're supposed to put two.
So let's do this guy here.
Remove the two.
So let's see. All right. So it should be deleted now. 204. So let's try again. Yeah. I don't understand this system. So this is actually a bug. So as a tester, you should report this. You created user and you try to delete the user, and the user was still, existing in the database. And I showed us a sheet last week on how to report API bugs. So this is a sample sheet to report API bugs. So is it? Okay, so let me just use this sample. So this is a sample sheet for reporting API bugs. So you come on your sheet, come on your report sheet, as you can see, as explained. So we have the module title. So you have the column for module title. So the module title is the name of the endpoint you're. Okay, just give it a while, it's loading. Okay, so this is the sheet. So this is the sheet to log bug, and the other sheet is for automation, which I created. So I've seen user service is the module you're working on. So if the project has a sub module, you can add the sub module as seen, and then the endpoint. Which endpoints are we having issue with? So that is the delete endpoint. So that is delete users. So you can enter your delete user, which is the API core, and the request body. If the request have a body, you are adding a body here, and the actual response you got. What was the response body you saw on the API console, then the expected result, which is what you expected to have seen, what you expected to have seen, when you perform the request, which is this. So you expected to see 204 and whatever when you execute this API request, and then you you give the method, and then the response code you got, then the status. So status is always, is either the status is the status is fixed, or before you give a status, you must have a failed test. So if assuming is a failed test, you click on field here, and you give the status, you know, on the on the um, on the sheet, maybe pending or review. And if the issue is fixed, you can always come back here and retest and click on fix. And if you have a comment to give, you can give a comment. So this is just a sample test case sheet for reporting API bugs. So back to our API. So, but let's try something out, see if it works. So let's execute the number, delete user number 2. Let's change this guy to 2, and let's send this request. Okay, send the content fund, and let's get this user for number 2. Is it supposed to be a page? Oh, okay. So let's get single user. That's serious. So as you can see, the data was not deleted from the database. So let's try a patch, a put request. So let's assume. Okay, we need to update user. Update user. So let's click on let's do update user. So we need to update user. Remember, always change your method. So the method is put method, and come to your documentation and copy out your endpoints. So this is put request. What is put request? Okay, this is put request. So we are updating. Let's assume you're updating this guy here. Passing this guy. Okay. So let's assume you're updating Toby that was being existing in the database. So as you can see, I click. So it wasn't deleted. So can anybody guess what happened here? No, I said I want to update this guy with this ID number 60, but I'm supposed to add in body to update, but I didn't pass in any details to update, so it hasn't been already updated. So now we need to add in body. So you click on raw, click on response in JSON file, and I always like to type myself. So what's his name? Um, so let's add in the value. Let me just save time and just copy this guy on some file. adding the value. So let me assume I want to, so the name was Toby and I want to give you a job role which is Zion resident and I want to change your name to Ajanoku. Yeah. So I want to change this guy names to Ajanoku, then giving him the job role of resident. So once I hit send, so it automatically updates this guy. You can see his name has changed, his job description has changed, the time and the dates as seen on the screen. You can see. So wherever. So that was updated. So if I want to get this guy info again, always remember to save. Click on the save button. If I want to get this guy, okay, get a single user with that same ID, which is 60. So if I click on send, okay. Hmm. Has it deleted you eventually? Okay, let's get list users. So these are you troubleshoot API generally. So you can see page 6. Okay. So let's create another user. So let's create another user. So let's create another user. Let's do Adewale this time. Adewale and what's the job role? Inspector. Inspector. So let's assume okay, Adewale is given a job role of inspector. So if he hits send, so Adewale was created successfully. And let's click save. So let's get single user for Adewale. So his ID is 70. 73, sorry. So 73. So I think something is wrong with this application. So I think what was wrong is that I can only get the existing. So okay, so you get the gist now. So we've executed the get request, we've executed post request, and delete request and put request. So now I want to teach us how to create our own server and create our own REST API service. So oh, I think we are missing something. So let's do register. I think we are the one. So create user. Create user. So let's this guy. So let's do change the register. So let me add my name. Let me say David. Abi? No.
Yes, now boss.
Let me give it. Admin. So let's send the request. Missing. So now this body requires me to pass in email or username. So if you go to here, you can see. So you have to pass in email and password. Okay. Let me pass in the email. I think that is a different function entirely. Okay. Let me password. Password admin 123. So let's send the request. Wow. Oh, email. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. So I'm not allowed to register. So you can see this when you perform this on post request register, you can see token was generated. So let me use this guy for existing data. So you can see that application does not allow you to register. Yeah. So you can see it's already registered and token was generated. And so let me teach us. Let me quickly just teach us how to set token into environment. So this is how you set token into environment. So you copy this guy here, and this is how to create environment for your project. So imagine. So the reason why we create environment for our project is because sometimes you might have thousands of API calls, maybe 1,000 APIs you need to execute, and maybe initially they were using request.in.com, and suddenly there was a change in environment. And what type of environment do we have in software testing? How many type of environments do we have? Who can give me the this type of environment you have? You are not sounding confident. Guys online,
Can
how
I
many?
answer? Can I answer?
Yes, please answer. I'm sure.
Yeah, I think there are two environments. First one is production, and the second one is development. Am I right?
I would like to buy a pizza, but because you are in India, you can't. All right,
No, I'm
please.
not in India.
Let's
I'm in
clap for.
Pakistan.
That was a good one. So we have a production environment, we have staging environment, and we have the UAT environment, and which other one do we have? Development environment. So imagine your your project is on staging environment, and tomorrow they want to move to production, and suddenly the URL change, and so the URL now changed to request.in.com.ng. ng was added to it, and of course it's going to be edit. I can't come back here and start changing all this URL, adding .com, and when I have hundreds of API. So to save our headache, you can come to this guy here, click on this eye icon here, and click on add environment. So always remember whenever you're adding an environment, you name your environment the project you're working on. So I can say request. I can say request. Let's say maybe dev environment. I can say dev environment. I can say request dot no, you request dev. If you want to add environment to it, you can add environment to it. But request dev already. I already named my environment already. So my environment is being named already, and now I need to pass in the variables. So variables are the keys, you will use to call what has been saved, in your environment. So let's assume I want to add in, first thing I want to add my URL, which is my base URL. So my base URL is so I can just give it a variable saying base underscore URL. So now I need to set in my URL. So I will come here and
Actually,
please,
sorry.
can you mute your mic, madam?
As in currently explain, training is very tiny from our end. It depends on if you
You
are
can't view my screen if I hear you
yes,
correctly.
yes, please.
Okay, ma. How about now? Okay. So I need to set my environment. So I will copy the base URL. Remember, this is always the base URL, so you don't need to add the endpoint, in the environment. So all you just need to just do pass in the base URL, current value. Once you just click on this guy to automatically update the current value, and imagine token was generated for me, and I need to set token to my environment. So I will just do token and paste in the token here. Okay, let me just click save for now. So let me go and copy the token. So for me to copy the token, I will come back here. Yeah, I will come back here, then copy this token and come back to my environment here. Yeah. Okay. Where is it? Okay, that's it. So I can just come here and edit. See, I've already select the environment. So immediately you set an environment for your project. Whenever you are testing the project, always come back here and update it. So if you have you can have several environments here. As seen on the screen, I have several environments. So imagine I want to test this application now, this TEF application. So I will just click on the TEF application. I've already selected the environment, and I can come to my collection. So TEF application, then I can just click on this guy, so which is the collection folder, and start testing. So guys, we understand. So always update. If you need to test any project, go back to your environment and click on the environment you want to test on. So imagine we are testing on request, which is what we are still on. So I'll click on the eye icon and click on edit and paste in my token. So my token is already set. If I automatically click on this current value, it should update in the current value. So I'll click on save. Okay, by chance it did update, so we can just ignore that. So um, so for me to perform a login, now I have registered this guy. So let me create another request. Okay, let me just duplicate. You can duplicate a request. So let me duplicate this request and rename this endpoint as login login user. So I have saved, and then this endpoint will change to login. So I need to log in this guy, and for me to log in, I need to pass in the token value. For me to log in, I need to pass in the token value. Sorry, guys. So we click on authorization and click on bearer token, which is bearer token I was given. And for me to enter the variable now, I will do double curly braces and another close curly braces. So in between here, I will now put token. So if I pass in token, you can see if I hover on it, it's already calling the token from the environment that was being passing. So I can click on save. So for the URL now, for me to set the URL now, so remember I need to set my URL. So I need to set in my URL. So for me to set in my URL, you can see this my base URL that has been highlighted. So I can just click highlight the URL and do curly braces, close curly braces, and come in here and type in base underscore URL underscore URL. So as you can see, so once I hover on this guy here, it's already calling the URL I've already set in the environment. I can click on save, and I can just do that, So you should do this before you even start testing your project. You should set your environment, I said. So now, because of the edit, now I need to start coming to these guys one by one and update the base URL. So double curly braces, base underscore URL, and click on save. Create user. This is set. So I need to update everything one after the other. So click on save. Update this guy too. Base underscore URL. Click on save. Update this guy too. Base underscore URL. Click on save. So the last one we need to update. Base underscore URL and click save. So we need to perform a login user, for this request. So we've already updated. What is it? Yeah. So we need to update this endpoint to login. So the body is passed in already. So let's click on login to see if we'll be able to log in. Okay. Let's check for successful login endpoints. So if you click on this guy here, let's say the okay API/login. So let's click on send. Okay, I think I know what's wrong. Let me pass in the base URL manually. So
Why is that this variable? Try this.
guys, do we get the flow now? So we've been able to log in successfully. So you can see email ID, password, we have ID created, ID generated. So let's try get if we get. So we just perform the get request now, and this is what we got. So let's do posts. So save and send. Yeah. So I hope you all get the flow. Is there any question? So in code, we've learned how to create collection folder. We've learned how to create our API requests, and also we've also learned how to create a collection and variables in an environment. And the next thing we'll be looking at now, is how to create our own API testing. That means how to create our own server and how to create our REST API for testing. Do we all understand?
I understand, but that base URL, you are not to use it because it's not functioning.
Okay, let me troubleshoot. Okay, I know what's wrong. So I know what is wrong. So let me change it back to base URL. Base underscore URL. So let me take out this splash because I have one splash in the environment set already. So let's hit send. So you can see. So do we get the flow? Guys online, do we understand? Do we get that? Hello guys.
I didn't think that is just environment because I couldn't see your screen. Because we use
Zeno, you are not audible enough. You can hear me.
okay, yeah, I lost track from the creation of environment and trying to get it open. So I lost track of my ball. I was basically the video. I really can't see the screen and very tiny.
Okay. All right. So which parts don't you understand?
Yeah, I took on the token, trying to get the token, the environment center.
So, which part don't you understand?
Creating the token, like how to get the token and then the environment center. I know you talked about the base where I'm trying to repeat something about from my own end, I did say,
No, you are not audible. You are not audible. Honestly, I really can't hear you well. I don't know if anybody else can get what she's saying.
Can you type it in the comment section?
It's not executing. Um,
Mr. David,
yes, please.
could you please check the comment section? There are a few comments there for you. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. I say good morning, David. Can you change your postman view to light? Okay, David, really can see your screen. It's so tiny. All right, so let me change my screen to light mode. Yeah, yeah.
So how do you change that?
So you come to setting and come to team.
I'm trying to that.
So, guys, so let's move to how to create our REST API and server. So you can refer to the recording section for those of us that are having. Tunde, do we have the recording section? All right, thank you. So the recording section will be uploaded after the class. Um, so now, one house, please. So now we will learn how to create API server, REST API server, and how to create data and creating our own API. So the first thing we need to do is to download Json server. So I'll be dropping a link. I'll be dropping a download link on the chat section. So check the WhatsApp channel. Download link is being dropped already. So if you launch that URL, it will take you to this page, which is this. So it will take you to this GitHub repository. So this repository actually belongs to someone. It's an open source to download to download the JSON server. Yeah. So as seen on the screen, you can see some text on the screen, and we can so follow the step by step to download a JSON server to run our API. So I don't know if you all have Node.js on our system. So let's check if you have if you have Node on our PC. So you can go to your terminal, or if you're on Mac, you can go to, if you're on Windows, you can go to your command line and launch your terminal. So you can type in node -v. Sorry, node -v. So this is to check whether you have Node on your PC. So it seems I don't have Node, or you try Node -version. okay, I have Node on my own PC. So you execute this line of script of code, Node hyphen version. So if you execute that, it will show you the version of Node you are using. So if you don't have Node on your PC, um, I will drop this line. So execute this line in your terminal. So execute this line in your terminal. Go to your terminal or your command line and paste in that code and paste in that line. So npm install -g Json server. So if you execute that, it will automatically start downloading Node for you on your PC. npm version. Command not found. Close your terminal and relaunch your terminal, then paste in this line npm install. So So if you don't have Node, go to your terminal. You have Node. Okay, there is no need for it to install. So you are using Node version system. So if you can see on your screen, if you execute this line Node hyphen version and you see version, you have a response of version 16.4 means you have Node on your system. But if you see not found, means you don't have Node. So you need to execute this line and install Node. Okay. Go to search Node.js download on your browser. So search Node.js download and then download Node.js for Mac. I think you are using M1 abi. So download for M1 or for Mac if available. So once you download Node.js, one now please. So once you download Node.js on your system and you have a Node already existing, you see. So we need to follow this step by step. So the next thing we need to do is to install JSON server, start JSON server on our terminal. So you can close this guy, you can close your terminal and reopen another fresh terminal. So I just open another terminal so you can pass in this line. Yeah, copy and paste. JSON server not found. Please, if you're on Windows, can you run it on Windows? Not recognized. What's going on? Not found too. Is installed on yours. Okay. You're passing the line. Install JSON. Okay. All right. Is anybody online trying on Windows?
Hello.
Is it installing?
No, sorry, David. It is not installing.
You
The
have
one
no.
you have given is not working on Windows.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Audible.
Can you drop what is failed? Okay, it's installed already. So yeah. Can you drop the line on the chat WhatsApp?
So now I don't know if I'm installing it or something like that.
So what did you pass in?
I just went to Json server now.
Okay, you launched the JSON server.
I went to it on the Mercedes code.
npm install. Okay, let me try that soon. That is for Mac. npm I install JSON server.
Yeah, you don't npm install Json server. Check. Okay, yes, down. Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, it's not. The difference around is high. So digital.
I or
I know iPhone, I instead of just I know.
okay. So for those of us using Mac, thank you, Toby. So you have to do npm -I install JSON server. So for Windows, npm -G JSON server. Yeah, it's done. Yeah. So as seen on the screen, is done installing the package, into your machine. So the next line of code we need to run is JSON what. So this is to create a JSON server on your PC. So if you have an existing server on your PC, it will tell you have an existing server. So let's pass in this line. So JSON server, I can watch the JSON. Command not found. What's going on? Please, can you try? Can you guys try on Windows?
So which one will we do? Yes,
Success. Okay, yeah. So your server is already running already. So
yeah.
let's troubleshoot for.
Let me
Do you have Apollo? Do you have Apollo?
let me see.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So Toby, can you help us troubleshoot for? I think all this line is for Windows only. Let me see if there is Mac in here.
not the system that I do.
How do I get from Mac? So we using Windows, we've been able to execute those lines now. So the next one we need to do is okay. So the guys on Windows, so copy this URL and paste, or click on the URL and paste in your browser. So if you paste this URL in your browser, it will take you to a page. It will take you to a URL page. So click on this link, it will take you to a URL page.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Ah. So it's already taking you to ID title Json.server, author is typing code. So
Every one of us now. Yeah. See it.
so if you look well, if you go to your terminal, if you go to your terminal and check the directory folder where the server is being running. So if you go to your terminal, you can see, let me show you out there. Okay, ID, this is server host. Okay.
Listen. The same code.
Is
Same
it?
code and same code.
It's just so unfortunate I can't get.
The same code.
don't have to go through all the stress. So I think we'll continue tomorrow. Let's continue from there tomorrow while I troubleshoot.
This one, both for you.
Okay. Okay, so tomorrow we'll continue from there. So I want to give us a task for us to do. So I want to give us a task. Are we all listening? So I want your task ready tomorrow. We'll all show what we've done tomorrow. So I want you to create. I want you to create a collection. I want you all to create a collection for this project. So execute all these APIs. The user, single user not found, list resources, single user not found. So pick everything one by one and execute them in your Postman. So tomorrow I want to see our attacks. So everything, create a collection folder, add in all the requests here, and don't forget to always save. And if you can set environment for all your requests, it's an added mark to you. So tomorrow at 11 o'clock, I expect us to have finished up our tasks. So you can start doing your tasks effective now, and we'll be wrapping up the class now. So tomorrow we'll pick it up from there, from where we stop. So will there be any question from anybody, or we call it a day? Any question? Okay.
Now we then need to course.
Yes.
Now the course issue or API.
It's not compulsory. Hello, guys.
No, no question here.
Will there be any question? All right. In the absence of no question, we'll call it a day, and to see you all tomorrow at same time. We'll be meeting up tomorrow same time. And for the course, if we are yet to complete the course, please let's try and finish up. Um, what is it?
Thank you, David.
All right, guys. See you tomorrow at 11. Enjoy the rest of your day.